Here we go, Apollo! Let's rip the fucking roof off of this place as we welcome to the stage the one, the only, Mr. Frankie Boyle!
I like your look, big man. Why have you got your trousers pulled up so tight you've got one of those ball vaginas? How you doing, little fella? You couldn't look gayer if you were skipping through a field of corn, wearing an Easter bonnet and licking a lollipop. You're like a living shrine to Stephen Gately. That's what my granddad used to call a four-cock mouth. We think that's what he was saying. He had 4 cocks in his mouth at the time. How you doing, wee boys? A fucking wee boy with a receding hairline. How you doing, Benjamin Button? You've been hit with a death ray or something? What, are you a wee boy? Are you a fucking sort of fresh-faced old man? What the fuck are you? The wee boy? Is this your parents? Fucking hell, you brought 2. Don't worry. Your mum knows you wank. Your mum wanks too. Sometimes your mum wanks your dad. The only thing they don't know is that you wank thinking about your mum wanking your dad. What are you chatting about, wee ginger fella? I'll get the house lights put up and we'll all watch you die from cancer. Fucking shape up, pal. I'll abuse you so badly you'll think I was a friend of the family. Are you doing hair better? Where'd they find you, on a fucking hunting trip? Don't fucking look round. Who does he mean? I mean you, the guy who looks like he's covered his head in Pritt stick and gone down on Susan Boyle. You. See, when you clean out your bath plug, do you feel like Chewbacca's gynecologist? Is that your girlfriend? Never let her sober up. A poster campaign for Rehypnol down there. How you doing, madam? I've always admired that ability to do makeup in the car. Did you hit a couple of speed bumps? Oh, you've gone for evening wear there. Fuck, are you at the wrong show? Fucking bought tickets for Michael McIntyre and here we are. Listening to jokes about Down syndrome, my God! How you doing, me boys? What's your story? Are you a schoolboy? Schoolboy? I feel like I'm fucking grooming you now. This is horrible. And what's your ambition, man, when you leave school? To be a professional cricketer, you fucking English cunt. Cricket is, of course, practised in Scotland as a homosexual martial art. What about you, man? Have you got a more realistic fucking worldview? You what? You want to be a pilot? Fantastic. A fan of pilots. There's a few of them. Right, shut the fuck up now, okay? I can handle abusing this wee boy. Not probably the best choice of words to use, right? Look at this moany-faced bastard. Oh, this a guy who moans about bald kids jumping the queue at Disneyland. Boys, see if he follows you into the toilet, scream. You'll probably make him come quicker. Now, for me, the luckiest guy in the world, Jack Tweed, Jade Goody's old boyfriend. I haven't fucking done it yet. Because he presumably made some money out of selling his story. Got plenty of sympathy sex, apparently consensual. Doesn't have to bring up the kids, there's somebody else's kids. And because she died from cervical cancer, during the 3 weeks that they were married, she got thinner and better looking and her pussy got tighter. Before the cancer, she'll have had a fanny like a canoe. You wouldn't have known whether to finger her or get in and row her. A lot of guys on dates going, this isn't funny. I'd like to be in that wedding ceremony. Till death do you part? Friday? Yeah, sure. Heather Mills, she gets a hard time in the papers, doesn't she? I quite fancy her. I do, Mills. Be like shagging an evil pogo stick. Who cares about her leg? It's her face she'd be finishing on. The person I feel sorry for in that story is Linda McCartney. Linda McCartney must be spinning in her hemp weave death basket. Apparently Jordan and Peter Andre are fighting each other over custody of Harvey. Although eventually one of them will lose and have to keep him. I have a theory that Jordan married a cage fighter because she needed someone strong enough to stop Harvey from fucking her. It's my last tour and I don't give a fuck anymore. Stephen Hawking nearly died last year. Luckily they sorted him out as you switched him off and then on again. Do you see that story the tabloids were going nuts about? The paedophile bikini. It was a bikini on sale in Primark, aimed at kids, but it had a padded bra. Surely the last thing a paedophile wants to see is tits. What that bikini was a paedophile deterrent, and it should have been marketed as that. The bikini bottom should have had fake pubes coming out the sides. And you go, wee Jenny, no one's going to want to fuck you now. They'll think you're a dwarf, what a hygiene problem. Did you enjoy Michael Jackson dying? That was good. I think in the future when people say, what were you doing when Michael Jackson died? Pretty much everybody will reply, I was texting a joke about Michael Jackson dying. Even the guy that was reading it out on the news had a look in his eye like, I've got one. Yeah. Must have been weird working at the Neverland Ranch. A strange existence that must have been. Spending your evenings chiselling a chimp sperm off a custom-made Macaulay Culkin face mask. Valerie Singleton had her autobiography out, and in it she said that she had an abortion when she was on Blue Peter. And who can forget what a harrowing episode that was? As I remember, they broke a coat hanger off the Advent crown. Buried it in the garden, but Shep dug it up. Obviously, a minute I get people coming up to me saying, are you related to Susan Boyle? Ha 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 ha. I'm not related to Susan Boyle, although we do have a lot in common. I also look ridiculous dressed as a woman. And we've both got a cock. To me, Susan Boyle looks like Gordon Brown playing Mrs. Doubtfire. Says she's never been kissed. On that evidence alone, Scotland's alcohol problems are not as bad as we thought. She's never been kissed, but she is Scottish. She will have been fingered on a school trip to Largs. No kissing, just some really intense eye contact. I sort of instinctively went for 4 there for some reason. The bowler's grip. Thumb in the belly button, the bowler's grip. I dreamed a dream. Fuck you. Love the way they always go, still a virgin, Susan Boyle, still a virgin. Well, that's going to change at any point in the near future. She was the last woman on earth I'd use her as bait to trap a wild animal that I'd be happier fucking. If I had a choice between seeing Susan Boyle naked and being gang raped by squaddies, I'd buy the first round of WKD myself. How are you, little fella, with the fucking Jedward fucking hairdo? Are you from the future or something? How you doing, wee man? What's your story? What'd you do? You're a student paramedic, so you could try and save someone's life. Let me through, I might be able to do something. You're just kicking a dying man in the chest. What do you want to do? You want to work in an ambulance? Great, get to watch people die. You fucking ghoul. Is this your girlfriend? How you doing? What'd you do? Hairdresser. You didn't meet him when you were choking on something, did you? The guy you used to go out with, for example. You didn't do his hair, did you? He looks like he got his hair cut trying to break up a fucking knife fight. What about you, man? You seem a bit camp for one of my shows. How you doing, man? You alright? I don't know why I went camp there as I said it as well. How you doing, buddy? What'd you do? You're a plumber. Fantastic. How does it feel being able to set your prices depending how old and vulnerable someone looks? Must be great, man. This is quite a good-looking row here. Look at that row over there. It's like fucking Jim Henson's workshop. The audience last night were like a freak show, man. I felt like putting out a public service announcement saying, in the event of a fire, you will all end up better looking. It's TV, man. How low is TV going to sink? I fully expect to switch on the telly in a couple of years to see someone going, my name's John Leslie. This is a Viking longship, and you're watching The Story of Rape. I saw a show the other night. They're cutting open these giant animals and they go, oh, look at this giraffe. It has an incredible number of neck vertebrae. Of course it's got an incredible number of neck vertebrae. It's a fucking giraffe. What are you expecting to find inside it? A horse with a periscope? Talent shows. Can you even imagine something interesting happening? You switch on and one of the judges is going, well, that was a wonderful tribute to Gary Glitter, but couldn't you have just sung one of his songs? People being judged by Amanda Holden, a woman with a face like haunted Tupperware. And I'd imagine a vaginal grip like a fucking jockey's left hand. Andrew Lloyd Webber, a man who looks like he's had his face carved off by a diseased butcher, put in a piñata, beaten with hockey sticks for 6 hours, and then the resulting mess piped back onto his head like the icing on the ugliest cake the world has ever seen. Cheryl Cole, a set of tits on a broomstick. Ashley Cole to me is like a new definition of moron. Someone who buys an unregistered mobile phone so they can text anonymously, then uses that phone to send a picture of his face. Almost as retarded as Vernon Kay, who put his marriage at risk by asking a page 3 girl to send him a picture of her tits. That's what you actually did, Vernon, you fucking mongoloid. How you doing, man? What's your story? What'd you do? You work in a builder's merchant? Fantastic. You must steal loads of stuff. Pretty much all you do, isn't it? Anyone want a big bag of sand? Great, my dad knew some builders merchants. We got a lot of fucking sand and cement in exchange for whatever my dad was doing. Hand jobs, probably. And a used girlfriend? How you doing? What'd you do? You work at HSBC? Don't worry, not for long. All the banks are fucked. Apparently there's a scheme now to fast-track bankers who are out of work into teaching. Imagine sort of teacher a banker's going to make. OK, I have no apples and you have 40 apples. Give me all the apples. How you doing, little fella? Are you all right? What's your story, man? What'd you do?
I work in a school.
You work in a school? You're a paedophile who failed his priest exams. You're doing working in a school? You're a fucking grown man. What'd you do? IT? That's the worst. You're in two parts of the Venn danger diagram now. You're an IT support fella? Yeah, I remember those at school. We used to bully you. Yeah. Once we'd killed all the ginger and black kids. How you doing, fella? You alright? What'd you do?
Physio.
You're a physio? Right. Are you two together? Because you could be a hell of a paedophile team-up. With our combined skills. What do you do physio for, man? What sort of sports?
Rugby.
Rugby? Right, you're a deeply sublimated homosexual, you know that, don't you? You're working on a giant man's groin strain. You might as well just go into the centre circle and all fuck each other, okay? I hate rugby, but I hope I didn't communicate that to you. I hope I was polite enough there. Deal or No Deal, that show gets me, man. Presented by Noel Edmonds looking like a wombat's vagina. How old is Noel Edmonds going to be before he stops asking his hairdresser to dye 40% of his hair to look like a stain in a tramp's pants? His skin, I can't even describe his skin. It's like if your balls had a kneecap. If I wanted to sit around watching people open empty boxes all day, I'd spend Christmas morning at Kerry Katona's house. Katona, did you see her on this morning? That was one of the very saddest wanks that I've ever had. God knows how you satisfy her now. You probably have to drive a vehicle into her. Maybe a bendy bus and wiggle it about a bit. Jeremy Kyle, that's another one. You watch that and you go, where did they get these people from? Where did they get these fucking people? Oh, right, Scotland. Right. They round up the audience for that show by firing tranquiliser darts into Primark. It's always scumbags, isn't it? There's never an episode called, I wanted to go to Tuscany, you swine. I'd like to see him come back with the DNA test results for me and go, your DNA test results here. You're not actually human. You're a rare breed of fucking cabbage. I like those wee titles at the bottom, man. Daddy, are you my nephew? I enjoy kicking my pregnant kids. Just one person masturbating in the darkness to that image there. Maybe you're slapping your pregnant kid because you're in public, I don't know. Going to have product placements on TV now. I think they should blackmail companies by threatening to do negative product placements. Do them on the bill or something. Sarge, we caught a paedophile. Really? What was he doing? Eating Walker's crisps. Dragon's Den always just think they know too much about business. They only back the boring stuff that's going to make money. You want someone on the panel who's got money but is a right fucking idiot. John Terry, I suppose, ideally. So, you're telling me that this is a steak and kidney pie, but I can use it to play my CDs? I mean... Oh, I saw a great thing the other day. You know that programme, The Secret Millionaire? They're not going to make that anymore because people are wise to it. So anytime people see someone with a camera crew in a poor area, they just assume that it's a millionaire. Which is why I think the time is right to start making The Secret Rapist. It's been so difficult bringing up my 2 boys since I got paralysed. Are you going to write me a cheque? Not exactly, no. Join us after the break and see which of these 3 deserving families Tom decides to rape. How you doing, big chap? You look like a roadie for a mental fucking metal group or something. What's your real story? What'd you do, man? You're a banker? Oh, a baker. There we go. Fantastic. What's it like to have a job that people have in a children's book? It's fantastic, isn't it? What you been baking today, man? Nothing. Oh, your day off? Yeah. Yeah, it's the weekend. Yeah, I know that. Don't fucking patronise me, right? I'm patronised by a guy who sells rolls for a living. Fuck off. How you doing, madam? What'd you do? You candlestick maker? Housewife, yeah, so no job then. Cool. How you doing, man? You alright? You're the dad of those boys. Yeah. What do you do, man? Company director. Listen to the fucking hatred building the room there. You and your fucking company director. And he's out rolling pastry of a morning. Swanning about directing fucking companies, you bastards. You felt that, didn't you? You felt that wave of recession goes on for 2 more months. They're fucking killing you in the car park, aren't they? You'll leave this room with an arsehole like a yawning hippo's mouth. What about you, wee boy? What's your ambition? You got an ambition? You want to be a doctor? There we go, an unrealistic ambition. That's a good one to have. What about you, man? Policeman? You fucking little cunt. What, you want to fucking police us? You want to fucking be the bad guy? You want to fucking knock people about? Why? Because you get bullied at school? You get bullied at school, and fucking rightly so. I wasn't going to mention your fucking braces, but now I'm going to fucking mention them. You deserve to be bullied, you wee fucking agent of control. Could we use sausage rolls to dispose of a body? I've offended Russell Howard from Mock the Week. I'm sorry to say, because I love Russell, I do love Russell. But I've been sending him texts saying that he should make more use of his incredible resemblance to Baby P. Do a few gigs in a bloodstained romper suit and see how they go, Russell. That's what I said. I feel I can talk about this because I'm making a movie about Baby P where Baby P comes back as a wee zombie and kills all the people that were a cunt to him. It's called The P Stands for Payback. That whole case makes you really worry anytime you meet someone with an initial for a name, doesn't it? This is my wife, Teresa. This is our son, Child D. Makes you wonder what happened to Mr. T when he was a wee boy. Probably gets sexually abused on an aeroplane. I ain't getting on no plane, fool. My asshole hurts just thinking about it. We got Barack Obama as American president now. Came to Berlin, got a standing ovation from 20,000 people. But let's not forget, the last man to get a standing ovation from 20,000 people in Berlin was the most evil man in history, David Hasselhoff. See, when he gave his first speech as president, they put on that bulletproof glass up in front of him. I think that shows you just how racist America still is. Just because he's black doesn't mean he's going to shoot anybody. I had a big meeting with the Dalai Lama a couple of months ago. I really wanted him to have an argument, just so I could read the headline, Obama Lama Ding Dong. I love that joke because it's literally like the sort of thing my dad would say. My dad's one of those people that can make you laugh just reading the telephone directory. He's a spastic. So we're fighting a couple of wars now. Well, we call them wars. We're basically just murdering a whole bunch of fucking shepherds. And what gets me is our callousness on the news when we read out our dead first, because our lives are more important. Other people's lives aren't worth as much. A bomb went off in Kandahar today, killing 2 British servicemen, 3 UN relief workers, and a whole bunch of Pakis. Oh, that thing we do, the minute we stop killing the shepherds, we start building them a fucking hospital. Let's build these people a hospital so they're better able to cope with us the next time we're in town. It's a bit like a rapist paying for his victim to take yoga lessons. Work on the splits, baby, because I'm coming back. I've always hated that thing the army do, where they give a medal to like a carrier pigeon or a sniffer dog that's helped them out or something. Must be quite galling if you had a son who died. Sorry, Mrs. McCready, I'm afraid that your boy's been killed by a landmine, but on the bright side, Bingo here retrieved his leg, so we've given him the George Cross and let him keep the bone. Got this trouble now where people are scaremongering about Iran. The truth is, we don't know who's got nukes. We could all get blown up tomorrow by Sweden. Yes, we have destroyed your cities. Now you must turn to us to refurnish them. Swedish people are a lot like gay German people. We have this whole debate now. How much should we torture people? What kind of a society even asks that question? How difficult is it to get information out of someone? Give them some cocaine. Give him some fucking cocaine. Yeah, he told us all about the secret training camps, huh? And a screenplay that he's been writing. Or why don't Al-Qaeda just employ people who are sadomasochistic perverts? We tried pulling his fingernails out, sir, but he came. Did you try the ball clamp on him? Yeah, he brought his own. We should be laughing at terrorists. These people are a fucking joke. The pants bomber. A guy tried to set off a bomb in his pants. I wish he'd done it just so I could know that he was up in heaven with 72 virgins but no cock. Should have done it on Ryanair. Everyone would have been delighted to get blown up and actually land closer to their fucking destination. I'm a pretty militant Muslim, as you all know. I'm all in favour of the full-length burqa, as it allows me to masturbate in Tesco. Who doesn't like the burqa? It's like a sexual scratch card, isn't it? Scotland got into trouble for deporting Al-Megrahi, the supposed Lockerbie bomber, because he only had 3 months to live, making him the healthiest fucker in Scotland. It's hard to joke about Lockerbie, I admit that. Hard to joke about Lockerbie. People had a terrible time there. I mean, sure, they got some great fucking luggage out of it. People said it was a disaster, the Al-Megrahi thing. It wasn't a disaster. It was Scottish people trying to do diplomacy. Actually went quite well. Normally a Scottish person being diplomatic is someone going, with the absolute best will in the world, you're a fucking cunt. Well, thanks for that speech, Ambassador. With these deep-fried Ferrero Rocher. Oh, while we're at it, while we're on the subject, what is it about people with cancer that they suddenly think they can run the fucking marathon? I've got cancer, I'm going to sponsor us. You feel like going, you have no chance of winning. I'm only joking, obviously. If you know someone with cancer and they want sponsored for something, please sponsor them. There's a good chance that you won't have to pay. I had a friend come up to me and say that she had breast cancer. She was going to cycle the Great Wall of China. Now, you can't say this, but you feel like going, you're the last person who should be cycling the Great Wall of China. You should be lying at home in bed, playing with your tits before they drop off. She doesn't mind me saying that. She's dead. She doesn't give a fuck. really, right? This is all just jokes. Just relax. It's not going to get any nicer. Not even a little bit. But just relax anyway. I do a lot of good work myself. I don't, it's another joke. I spend a lot of time helping teenagers who've been sexually abused find their way out of my house. You know those Somalian pirates? See, 3 or 4 years ago, weren't we giving all the money from Comic Relief to Somalia? Is that what they did with the fucking money? For just £20 a month, you could buy this family a speedboat and a grappling hook. Do you get letters from people that you've sponsored? Thank you for your parcel. I enclose a picture of me beheading someone wearing your Shit Happens t-shirt. How you doing, man? What do you do? You're a stockbroker? What about you, man? You're a plumber? Fantastic. How do you know him? Plumbers and stockbrokers? Friends? What the fuck do you talk about? Oh yeah, I made quite a bit of money short selling on Nike today. Yeah, really? I broke up a big jobby in a toilet. How you doing, fucking gigantor? You alright, man? This guy, you're just fucking looking at me like I'm a big sausage holding a microphone, aren't you? How you doing, big fella? What's your role in life?
I'm a lawyer.
You're a lawyer? Fucking hell. What type of law?
Property.
Property law. Could you be more worthless? It's not often I'll say this. Not often I'll say this. But you should stick your face in a meat grinder and go and live in the woods. I don't mean this to sound horrible, I really don't. But I could watch you being raped and not feel a flicker of emotion. That's not true. I'd be angry they weren't killing him. A lot of my stuff gets cut out on TV, to be honest. We did a round in Mock the Week one time. It was things you wouldn't hear on The Apprentice. And I went, this is the first time ever I've not been able to separate our 2 finalists. Margaret, Nick, hold my legs up. It's a rim-off. They had around one time things you would say that would change the atmosphere at a dinner party. And I said, if we're all here, who's looking after Madeline? They fucking cut it out. They cut it out. Can you believe that? At first I thought, no, they're saving that bit for the Christmas special. Must be. It was a bit in the Christmas special. They didn't show either, actually. It was things you wouldn't hear at Christmas. And I went, it's not rape. Look, there's mistletoe. I said to Darryl Breen, I said, I had a joke about rape and it would have fitted perfectly, but they just wouldn't let me put it in. And he went, that's rape in a nutshell, Frankie. I did that show, Would I Lie to You, with Christine Blakely from the One Show. And I said to her, I said, Christine, you're a very beautiful woman. You're a very talented presenter. Why do you have to present the One Show with Shrek? Do you know how difficult it is for me to masturbate with one eye closed? She looked at me for a bit and she went, you're masturbating to the One Show with a hand over your eye? I said, no, Christine. I wear an eye patch because I need both hands. What must it be like fucking Adrian Childs? If that's what his face looks like when he's not coming, Jesus. Adrian Childs' face is sort of what I imagine Susan Boyle's arse looks like. My favourite thing on telly is those anti-drinking adverts. You know, it's always like a drunk woman staggering about or a drunk woman falling over. I always watch those and I think, that's right, there's drunk women out there. I'll get my coat on. I always practice safe sex myself. So what I do is I hang about outside an STD clinic and chat up women who come out looking relieved. I love the athletics on TV. Do you watch the athletics? I think it's great, the athletics. that we all get together every few years and decide which country has the fittest black people. So all the Commonwealth Games ever was a big slave race. The Empire Games, it was called originally. William, I think my niggers are quicker than yours. Well, that sounds like a wager. It's ironic that they start those races with a gunshot, because that's how they used to finish. I hate racism. I could never be a racist. I haven't finished hating all the fucking white people yet. Do you want to see more drugs in sport? I want to see a lot more drugs in sport. Do you want to see someone run the 100 metres in 9.98 seconds? Do you want to see him run it in 3 seconds? I don't want to see Dwayne Chambers running on steroids. I want to see him running with the legs of a kangaroo and the heart of a fucking leopard. I want to see him run so fast that halfway through the race, he disappears like the car from Back to the Future, reappears at the finish line as a very old man, shouts, "Beware, China!" and then crumbles into fucking dust. Usain Bolt won that race in, what was it, 9.69 seconds? I can't do anything in that time. It took me 10 seconds to watch him do that. Michael Phelps, the swimmer, he was too good as well, wasn't he? That's going to be boring at the London Olympics, unless we make Phelps swim in the conditions that the British athletes had to train in. Let's see how good he is once he has to get past a fat guy doing widths. Tread water for a bit so he doesn't swim up an old woman's colon. Get old people out of the swimming, by the way. What are they doing in there? Bobbing about like fucking jellyfish? Fuck off! Or we should ban all the swimming events and just have one event where Michael Phelps swims up and down while Michael Barrymore tries to catch him. Barrymore, man. I love the way that every so often the papers, or sometimes the police, will come out and go, perhaps we'll never truly know what happened on that night. Well, a dead guy's turned up full of drugs and spunk. I reckon I could take a fucking guess at it. Oh, what could have possibly happened here? We've got a dead body with an arsehole like a vintage golf bag. Roman Abramovich, he's a sinister fucker, isn't he? I think because Abramovich is so sinister, that's why Alex Ferguson at Man U has had to build up a team of ugly men who look like they'd be impossible to kill. Like Wayne Rooney. How would you kill Wayne Rooney? If you put a bullet through the middle of Wayne Rooney's head, all that would happen would be that he whistled when he ran. Just had a baby, didn't he, Rooney? He must have been an asset at the birth. Look, Colin done a poo with a fish. Looking forward to the World Cup in South Africa. That's going to be mental in South Africa, isn't it? Injury news. John Terry's been murdered and Sean Wright-Phillips was raped in his car. Personally, for South Africa, I'm going to support the guys most likely to come away with the trophy. The child soldiers of Sierra Leone. Fucking tragic, Beckham getting injured. Do you not think that was tragic? Because now he's going to be in a commentary team and I'm going to have to listen to his little boy with brain damage fucking voice. Apparently they're trying for a baby, the Beckhams. Fucking hell. Shagging that woman must be like trying to separate deck chairs with your dick. Like fucking a packet of vomit-flavoured knickknacks. Do you know what they should have done? Give us all a laugh, right? They should have got the England team to write their own World Cup song. Not just sing the song, write the fucking song. Kick it in the goal, kick it in the goal. Their goal, not our goal. Kick it in the goal. I like that scandal in the rugby. Did you see a guy that had the blood capsule in his mouth so he could pretend it was injured? You see him? I thought he should have hidden it up his arse and done it in the scrum. Oh, you dirty bastards! Send him off, ref! Yellow card! Do you know what I love? I love Wimbledon. Do you watch the wheelchair tennis? They're fucking brilliant at tennis. It's really compelling. But why during the break do they make them go over to the side? They're already sitting down. How much of a rest do they need, the fucking lazy bastards? I always like the grunting in the tennis, putting each other off with the grunting. Should bring that into the snooker. John Parrott, 12. I always love the way England's got Wimbledon, the #1 fucking competition, despite not being that interested in tennis and not being any fucking good at tennis. It's a bit like Wales having the World Rodeo Riding Championships. Come on, Gareth! Come on, Gareth! Come on, Gareth! Oh, he's been paralysed. See that guy that died in the luge in the Winter Olympics? Bit of a silver lining. He's coming back next year to compete in the skeleton bobsleigh. That's nice. How you doing, man? How you doing, baldy fella? You alright? Yeah, you're not bald. Is that your fucking angle, is it? That's going to be a difficult one to defend there, big chap. Particularly as the spotlight bounces back off your heads and burns out my fucking retinas. How you doing, man? What's your story? What'd you do?
I work with disabled children.
You work with disabled children? Well, have I got a few jokes for you? Oh dear. You don't really? Oh, bit of a fucking comedian yourself there, aren't you? Fantastic. Don't worry, we'll fucking edit it out in the DVD and it'll look like you do. People will go, well, why has he said that then? And that's how you end up on the sex offenders register, my friend. And that is where you will get to meet those two guys. How you doing, man? What's your story?
I'm a project manager.
You're a project man. You've just said that. You're warning me with your eyes. You're doing that thing where you're going, I've done the most boring fucking thing in the world, Frankie. Just fucking turn back now. What's this project you're managing?
I work with defence estates on military projects.
You work on military projects? Things for killing people?
No.
No? All right. We're going to work our way towards this like a fucking riddle, are we? How many questions do I get? I think you'll find it's an almost infinite amount. What's the nature of this project, man? Tell me.
Construction project.
Construction, right? Now we've learnt a little more of nothing. You're constructing something for the Ministry of Defence and we don't know what it is. Now we're intrigued. Even the paedophile's intrigued. Have you seen that? What's this thing you're constructing? Are you sure you work for the Ministry of Defence? And this isn't just something your care workers told you do? Aye, the Ministry of Defence want you to build another sandcastle. There you go. Once you've finished that, you can go home for the day. Another job well done. I got in a bit of trouble this year where John Humphreys, the Radio 4 presenter, came out and described my work as lascivious filth. I think if you're going to get slagged off by someone, it should be by a guy who looks like the ghost of the monkey that started AIDS. Then Danny Dyer was in the paper saying that he wanted to fight me, taking time out from presenting Britain's Hardest Baby or whatever the fuck he does. Britain's Hardest Baby, in case you're wondering, is the zombie baby P. Bet Harvey in the final. Danny Dyer's presenting a show called Danny Dyer, I Believe in UFOs. I'm going to present a show called Frankie Boyle, I Believe in Danny Dyer, where I try to work out if Danny Dyer actually exists or if he's just a character actor constantly auditioning for the part of a gay garage mechanic with a brain injury. Who actually employs him? The only thing anyone wants to see Danny Dyer present is the symptoms of arse cancer. I should say, I feel a bit guilty here, because Danny Dyer friended me on Facebook. And he seemed like a nice guy. Listen to me, this is how people get killed on Facebook, isn't it? Seems like a nice guy, sending his dad round to pick me up. There's no room in the car, I've got to climb directly into the boot. That was horrible, the Facebook murder, wasn't it? The only reason they caught the guy was she changed her status at the last minute to just been sexually murdered in a park, laugh out loud. ROFD, rolling on the floor dying. 5 people like this. A guy stood up the other day and gave his name as the Crossbow Cannibal. What's your name? Crossbow Cannibal. And how do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honour. We put 2 10-year-old boys on the sex offenders register. 2 10-year-old boys. I can't wait for one of Britain's paedophiles to run into our youngest sex offenders. Do you want to see my puppies? Yeah, and your cock. That fucking cabbie that went on the rampage in Cumbria, right? This is a true story. Right, I tell you it because it's a true story. Yesterday, as the story's all over the front pages, I'm sitting in a cafe having breakfast, and there's a Scottish guy sat across me. I know he's Scottish because he's reading a Scottish newspaper. And he recognises me, and he finishes reading the story about the taxi driver. And as he's leaving, he points at the paper and he goes to me, "And they never take Scottish banknotes." Get a sense of fucking proportion, man. I take taxis all the time, and after 5 years of listening to taxi drivers' opinions, it'd be a relief to meet one that just wanted to shoot me in the fucking head. I know this all seems a bit soon now, but hopefully by the time the DVD comes out at Christmas, the victims' families will be able to look back and laugh. Oh, do you remember that time our dad got murdered by a taxi driver? He left his meter running as well, the cheeky cunt. So here's what's really on my tits, right? David Cameron is our Prime Minister. That was great. The one northern voice I've heard all night is a cunt. That's a fucking snap review there, sir. Well done. He's a wet-lipped buffoon who looks like he should be playing a trombone in a fucking Lurpak advert. Apparently the Tories were worried about his lack of appeal in the north. He's David Cameron. The only thing he's got in common with anyone up north is that somebody in Liverpool now has his bicycle. Nobody voted for this, right? You'll have gone into a school and cast your vote, and you'll now get punished for that decision for the next 5 years. You'd have got a shorter sentence if you'd walked into the same school and beaten a kid over the head with a fucking dumbbell. They sacked that guy. You can't hold a kid down and beat them over the head with a dumbbell shouting, "Die, die, die," anymore. It's fucking political correctness gone mad. Nick Clegg now has power. A guy who looks like he shouts out sorry when he comes. He has the air of someone who'd leave a stag party early because he didn't want to miss Holby City. What was Brown's campaign about? Smiling and waving every day, that weird fucking... He looked like someone getting a blowjob in his car while his wife drove by in a Ford Fiesta. That mad old woman, all these Eastern Europeans, where are they coming from? Well, take a wild guess, you stupid old cow. Do you know what he should have done, Brown? I admit this would have been daring, but he could have got away with it. He went back up the second time to apologise. He should have gone into her house and tried to fuck her. She'd have come out and gone, "Gordon Brown tried to fuck me." And we'd all just go, "Oh, she's just mad. She's just a mad old woman." But I would never attempt to pump an old woman in her house. And he'd have got off with it scot-free, and he'd have been sat in the prime ministerial debate, strangely distracted by a middle finger that stunk of freshly baked scones. Sorry to see Lembit OPEC losing his seat. Quite liked him because he manages to shag reasonably attractive women despite looking like a banana with Down syndrome. Peter Mandelson, this doesn't get said enough. He's gay and he's a lord. He's a gay lord. The British National Party tried to pretend they were a modern, progressive kind of a party, as you can read about in their manifesto. Holocaust, schmolocaust. You know, the trouble with politicians, we're led by the least among us, the least in society, the least moral, the least noble. You know how there are jokes about Scottish people being mean, and we tell those jokes about Aberdonians? And there are jokes about Irish people being stupid, and Irish people tell those jokes about people from Kerry. Kerryman jokes. Down syndrome people tell Down syndrome jokes about Boris Johnson. Not very well, admittedly.
Why did Boris Johnson cross the road? Fuck knows, I can't remember.
When I was a wee boy growing up in Glasgow, I used to always think, what is it about people with Down syndrome that they're not allowed to go to the regular hairdressers? You can't come in, you've got Down syndrome, you've got to go to that guy 2 doors down that used to do the fucking Beatles. You won't look like the Beatles. Maybe Ringo. Maybe Ringo. I thought about it, and I thought it's because they've got older parents. Their parents are out of date. I thought, what's the worst part of that deal? Is it having Down syndrome or having parents who are 20 years behind the times?
What did you get me for my birthday? A soda stream? Fuck you! I'm leaving home!
Don't leave home, Sadden. You've only got a year to live. I feel I can talk about this because I do a lot of work for MenCap. Never ask for money. Always get paid in sex. If you can call it sex. And apparently the police are going to be calling it sex. So that's the whole routine I got all that trouble about, right? 3 jokes, which nobody's even heard. So anyone who's commented on that is basically saying, I'm absolutely outraged by whatever the fuck it was. To tell you what happened, the woman and her husband are sat at the front, but they're talking. So I tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't tell me his name or where he came from or what he did. So I started insisting that he was John Venables. I think that's where things started to go sour. And the tragic thing is, I'm quite a right-on kind of character. I never even use the word disabled. I always use the phrase differently abled. Because I see people with learning disabilities as just having different abilities. For example, the extra saliva means they can give an incredible blowjob. They can talk to you while they're doing it and not sound any different. That's an ability. We're going to have true equality with the learning disabled. We need to start fucking them. I've already started. I would always wear a wizard's hat when I'm doing it to confuse the description that they give to the police. I'm going to build this up so it's so ridiculous and so fucking cartoonish that people can tell it's a joke and I couldn't possibly mean it. Or I start to get a Down syndrome picket line, a learning disabled army of the damned turning up outside my shows on the wrong night, stopping the Chuckle Brothers from getting to do their fucking gig. I honestly just think we do have people in this country now who are just a bit fucking humourless and they just don't know when you're joking. Is he joking, this comedian? Is this comedian joking up on the comedy stage at this comedy festival? Do you think he's fucking joking? You're joking, you stupid fucking cunt. You can't take everything seriously. If we'd taken everything my gran said seriously, she'd still be alive today. And then you meet these people who say, well, I believe in freedom of speech, I do, but you should ban certain words. You should ban words like retard and mongoloid. So I believe in freedom of speech, but you should ban some words and some jokes and some opinions. Now, if you meet anyone like that, it's important to say to them, you're right, we should never use the word retard to describe someone with a disability. We should never use the word mongoloid to describe someone with a disability. But we do need to hang on to those words to describe you, you retarded mongoloid fuck. I could use my powers for evil, you know. I could spend my time trying to think up derogatory words for lesbians or something. Fanny cannibals. There we go. Not hard. Doesn't make me homophobic. I fucking hate homophobia. It doesn't even make any sense. Gay people are a lot cooler than straight people. You ever see a gay guy on the golf course? Well, not during the daytime. Ricky Martin came out recently. That took a while, Ricky. He was so deep in the closet, he was bumming Mr. Tumnus in Narnia. Tell you my favourite thing I saw recently. I saw an article about how much Gordon Brown spends on makeup. He's wearing makeup. What would he look like without makeup? E.T.'s nutsack. Towards the end, he looked like a drugged-up cat that had had its face shaved at a party. Gordon Brown couldn't have won that election if he'd appeared on Britain's Got Talent, sang a note-perfect version of Cry Me a River, then pulled the still-living Madeleine McCann out of the jaws of a fucking shark. Did you see that thing where they aged Madeleine McCann, that photo? What kind of a society are we that does makeovers on missing children? Well, this is what she'd look like if she was 6 in Africa, and it's quite realistic, because in the background you could see a wee Primark sewing machine. Kids putting fake pubes onto bikini bottoms. I did a show in Glasgow a couple of years ago, and we have some refugees in. I did a show at the Glasgow Comedy Festival, and my mum wanted me to get tickets for this couple that I fucking hate. So I put 2 tickets in the box office, but for a laugh, I put them under the names Kate and Jerry McCann. I told my pal that I was doing it, and he went, "You should have left 3 tickets." He'll be devastated by that, Jerry McCann, won't he? He'll be devastated, Jerry McCann. But there'll be a tiny part of him, that'll be thinking, I could put a pool table in that room. And that's finally too much. Okay. Yeah. I'll lighten things up a bit. A wee jokey joke. Let's see if that lightens up. Everyone likes a wee jokey joke. Here we go. When I was a wee boy, I had a dream that I was eating a giant marshmallow. And when I woke up, I was being sexually abused. What do Japanese people call their Japs eye? My eye? You know how when you go to the supermarket and you buy a carrot, there's always a moment, isn't there, when the assistant looks at you thinking, he's going to stick that carrot up his arse. He's going to go home and stick that carrot up his arse and run about clucking like a chicken. That's why when you go to the supermarket, buy 2 carrots. You could always eat one of them. You can eat roadkill, have you seen that? My pal got me a recipe book for roadkill, so I got some roadkill, followed one of the recipes. Absolutely delicious. Still don't know what to do with his bike. He's worried about the recession. I like the new advert for the Halifax. It's just Howard hanging himself in a bathroom. Do you know what's going to be good in the recession? That programme, Grand Designs. An hour-long show where we watch a family with a budget of £12 decide which colour to paint the door. I honestly think we should have more strikes in this country, I really do. I like those French workers that kidnapped their boss in an adhesive factory. They didn't even use adhesive to keep him there, the dozy bastards. They tied him up. That's like having a job in a mortuary and going home to make love to your wife. Labour just did too much weird shit to get re-elected, didn't they? Third runway at Heathrow they wanted, to turn Britain into a hub airport where the average stay would be an hour. And the only reason anyone would visit Britain ever again would be the reason that most of us would visit a McDonald's, to take a big shit and then fuck off again. They wanted to get asylum seekers to pass a GCSE in English. They're claiming asylum, you sick bastards. No, I think you'll find it's my family and I will be murdered if we return to the Sudan. Fuck off. ID cards, how is that going to work? How are you going to fingerprint everybody in Norfolk? Take 2,000 years for their fucking hooves to evolve. Scotland has a lot more shit places than you. Don't worry about that, man, right? There's a reason the Romans came across the world, conquering, civilising, conquering, civilising, conquering, civilising, got to Scotland and said, build a wall. There's a town near Glasgow called Coatbridge, which I can sum up in one beautiful detail. There's one restaurant in the town, a Chinese takeaway, which is called Bon Appetit. How'd you get a lassie from Coatbridge pregnant? Spunk in the gutter and let the flies do the work. There was a survey out the other day said 50% of Scottish people know a junkie. The rest of us have no contact with our dad. My pal told me a great Scottish story. My pal's a magician. He does magic at weddings. He did a wedding recently where the groom wore a kilt, and for the photos, he sat on the bride's knee and left a skid mark on her dress. They can't turn that into an episode of the Daz Doorstep Challenge. You been on a Scottish beach? Rubbish everywhere, shit all over the place, condoms. It's like taking a holiday in Amy Winehouse's muff. Winehouse looks filthy now, doesn't she? I reckon AIDS is worried about catching her. She's got a new boyfriend. He doesn't drink, doesn't take drugs. Unfortunately, he went down on her and he's now doing 3 weeks in rehab. Nudist beaches I've never really understood. I can't get my head around this whole idea that nudism's normal. If nudism's normal, how come I'm still banned from Euro Disney? Really tell me it's normal to watch your 12-year-old daughter play ping pong in the nude with a 56-year-old dentist who's returning the ball without a bat? It's the ugliness of the nudist, man. Don't get me wrong, if they all looked like models, I'd be down that beach with a wheelbarrow full of Kleenex and a heat pad on my wrist. They'd be wading back through the sand like it was fucking Scott's porridge oats. What I'm into myself sexually is leather. I say leather, I mean older women. Britain's oldest woman to give birth a couple of months ago. She was 63. Can't be easy getting up in the middle of the night, age 63, to change a soiled nappy. Especially now she's got a baby. I'm sure it was actually a magical moment. I'd have loved to have been there when her dust broke. I couldn't have sex with someone that old because they might die. They might die during sex. And I don't know that I could trust myself to stop. Have you seen that scientist who's put microchips into old people with dementia? So if they get lost, you can track them down with your sat-nav. Oh, there you are, Grandad, trapped under the wheel arch, found you. I think you should just do what we did with my granddad, put him on a retractable leash. Sounds harsh, but he never got lost, never fell over. Never had dementia, to be honest. Apparently, scientists have developed a genetically modified monkey. What they've done is they've injected jellyfish cells into a monkey so that it glows in the dark, and they reckon that one day this could help people who are terminally ill. What do they mean, one day? If I was terminally ill and someone gave me a glow-in-the-dark monkey, I would be fucking delighted. As I got ill and my hair fell out, I could shave the monkey and have glow-in-the-dark hair and a shaved monkey. The fuck am I talking about? Why am I still holding the monkey? Apart from anything else. Do you see this fertility clinic? There's a fertility clinic that raffled a human egg. Raffled a human egg. Surely life is hard enough growing up and finding out that you're adopted. Without growing up to find out your first prize in a raffle and your brother and sister are a box of dairy milk and a fucking goldfish. The world's oldest dog just turned 21. It's a dachshund, but it can't see, hear, or walk. That's not actually a dog, is it? That's a draft excluder that shits itself. I read this the other day. Have you heard this? There are certain types of cancer that women are more likely to get if they give blowjobs. And they're more likely to get those types of cancer the more cocks they suck. Now, you've never heard that, have you? And the reason you've never heard that is that men control the news. In other news, sucking cocks causes cancer. The weather, quickly, the weather. I think we got away with it. The Americans have still got that oil leak going on. They're going nuts, the Americans, aren't they? If Bush was still in charge, they'd have invaded the sea by now. And Britain would have joined in. They're looking for something that can be used to block a massive hole. I say, get down the Premier Travel Lodge and wake up fucking Lenny Henry. The Pope came out the other week. Well, the Pope didn't come out, right? That's the first thing, right? Still in fucking denial. The Pope came out and said that condoms don't stop the spread of AIDS. Somebody should tell that fucker that he's putting them on wrong. To me, I was brought up as a Catholic, and it just seems like a load of fucking nonsense. Catholicism, to me, seemed to be just a list of things that autistic people said thousands of years ago that happened to get taken seriously. On a Friday, you can only eat fish. Nothing but fish on a Friday. Brilliant, I'll write it down. I mean, I think back to priests when I was a wee boy. They had a kind of Asperger's quality to them. But you never met a witty priest. So I was doing an exorcism. I was telling the devil to get out of the boy, when the devil made the very good point that as a priest, I'd probably been inside more children than he had. Touché, Satan. There's a tragedy to male sexuality, isn't there? Like, women, don't let men tell you what's sexy, because men don't know. Belly button piercings aren't sexy. Men just think they are because it reminds them of the staple in a porno mag. The stuff men say, you know, I don't like it when women have their big period knickers on. Big grey knickers when they've got their period. You want them to wear sexy knickers when they've got their period? That'd be like hanging bunting in an abattoir. And while we're at it, for crotchless knickers, you really need the right sort of vagina. The wrong sort of vagina in crotchless knickers looks like a cannibal's Christmas decoration. Let's get rid of Brazilians as well. What was wrong with those big 1970s hairy bushes? Women who looked like they were giving birth to Emmanuel Adebayor. The tragedy of male sexuality is that we should be attracted to strong, confident women. That'd make us happier. And instead we know that broken, disillusioned women are going to be dirtier in bed. If you get on a first date with someone and they're going, I had a great relationship with my father, inside you're going, damn. My stepfather, on the other hand, back in the game. If you get a date with Elizabeth Fritzl, you're fucking that night. You could spice it up by in the middle going, who's your daddy? Men want to fuck teenagers, you know, but they lie about it. Well, I couldn't fuck a teenager. What would you talk to them about afterwards? I don't know. How they're planning on getting home? Oh, you'd fuck a teenager, but what would you actually be left with? I'd be left with the videotape, motherfucker. They always say they want to cut down on teenage pregnancies, and yet, when I was a teacher, I tried to teach the sixth formers about anal. I got sacked. I say when I was a teacher, I was dressed as a teacher. That's what they should do, man. They want to cut down on teenage pregnancies. Send me round the schools. Show them what sex is like in your late 30s. I'll fucking put them off. Get one of the fifth formers over a desk and give her a brutal, loveless, perfunctory pumping. And in the middle, just for realism, I'll get my 2-year-old son to walk in and tell us both that he needs a poo. I've got 2 little kids now, 2 little kids, so I have a lot of sleepless nights, lying awake wishing that I'd come in their mum's tits. When I was a teenager, I was always terrified of the idea that one day I'd die. Now it's the only fucking thing that keeps me going. It's great, kids, actually. It's joyous, you know. One of the great things with kids is sometimes you're just in that kid mode and you'll say things that have never been said before. You don't even need to have the kids with you, particularly. I went to the supermarket recently. I didn't have the kids with me, but I was just in that mode. And I picked up the cheese and I went, "Hello, Mr. Cheese." And this guy beside me got really angry because he thought I was talking to him. And I had to turn to this guy and go, "I wasn't talking to you, pal. I was talking to the cheese." What's your name, wee man? I'm going to fucking educate you here. What's your name? Johnny. How appropriate. Well, you know how at your age, Johnny, when you first start going out with someone, you've got to think of stuff during sex to put yourself off, to stop yourself from coming. Next time it might be this moment. Right? Truth is, when you're 37 like me, you've been out with someone for 7 years, you no longer have to think of stuff to stop yourself from coming. All you have to do is look down at your partner's face and see the faces of your own children. Wow, your cum face is exactly like the face the wee man pulls when he's hurt his knee. She knows it too. When she doesn't want sex, she comes to bed wearing Spider-Man pyjamas. We have quite an active sex life, actually. A lot of role play. She likes to dress up and pretend to be Catwoman, and I pretend that I love her. I'm trying to think if I've got any other advice for you. Yeah. Never let anyone ram a big Toblerone up your arse. And if they do, don't rip it out straight away. Wait for the corners to melt a bit. You know how when you go to the pet shop, there's always a moment, isn't there, when the pet shop owner looks at you thinking, he's going to stick that hamster up his arse. That's why you should always buy 2 hamsters. Might be able to eat their way through the carrot. Shall I tell you what I'm like, Johnny? I think I can explain myself to you. When I was a wee boy, my granddad used to take me up into the loft. He'd take down a chest that he had up there. He'd open up the chest. Do you know what was in it? A mermaid. And he'd have me stripped naked as a wee boy and make love to that mermaid on the floor while he watched for his sexual gratification. Now, years later, when the old bastard was dead, I went back up into the loft. I took down the chest and opened up. Do you know what I found in there? A dead monkey with its legs sewn together. You remind me of that monkey, Johnny. It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. Take care of yourselves. I'll show you the life of the mimes. And he'd have got off with it scot-free, and he'd have been sat in the prime ministerial debate, strangely distracted by a middle finger that stunk of freshly baked scones.